Well, hello my RecTech family, Darren George coming back at you again. Hey, I was going to do this video just for one of our members, Mr. Diaz. His question was, I'm 6'6", and when I built the original ones, I built it basically for myself. It was to lift it up, make it a more easy, I mean, as you could see, this is so much easier for me to work at and deal with than the smaller version. So I built those, offered them out to you guys, but not taking into account that, we have a lot of family members that, let's face it, aren't 6'6". So Mr. Diaz contacted me and he wanted to know if it would be possible for me to build one that was roughly about 5 inches shorter. So I went back to the drawing board, started playing around, and I was able to build one that is 5 inches shorter, which is what I got here today. I'm going to be assembling that. That's what this video is about. I was going to show him how to assemble it when he gets it. But I also thought, in the process of doing this, I listened to all the comments and concerns, just like any good company should, when it comes to customers and issues they've had with products they've bought from you, or things that might be able to be changed to make them a little better, a little easier to assemble, a little tougher, whatever the case may be, to try to make your product the best it could possibly be. Well, I've been playing around with the idea of building these systems using nut zerts instead of nuts and lock washers and things like that, which is going to cut way down on the time it takes to put it together. It's going to go together a lot easier. It's going to be just as strong, if not stronger, less hardware, and not to mention, I don't have to worry about screws that are getting stripped. Well, on the original carts, if you remember, they were actually made out of 14 gauge steel, which made them a little bit heavier and the steel was a little stronger. But now, with the cost of steel going up and trying to keep you guys in that same ballpark as far as the cost of them and not wanting the carts to cost too much, we had to go with 18 gauge steel, which is fine because I've done things like reinforce the A-frames with actual bends on the metal to reinforce the steel. But I didn't want to stay with the stainless steel sheet metal screws because I was afraid that maybe there might be a chance that something would strip. So what I've gone with, now they're going to be assembled with nut zerts, which for anyone that doesn't know what a nut zert is, what they are is, I'm sure you've seen them when you buy carts and stuff like that, and they come with these things already installed that the bolts actually screw right into them. And it's basically a nut that is pressed into a hole, so the nut is always there. So you're using a bolt rather than a sheet metal screw, and you're depending on the strength of the nut to hold the item together instead of a screw. So that's why I decided I would do this video and put it on YouTube, only because it's not just for Mr. Diaz's cart that I'm building today. I think it's going to wind up becoming the standard that we move forward with, just for longevity and for just a better build quality. So with that being said, let me get back to, I'm going to put the wheels on his frame, which is what I'm in the process of doing now, is bolting his wheels on. I'm going to go ahead and bolt those on. Once I get that done, I'll bring you back as we're putting the outer skins on, just so Mr. Diaz sees how he's going to go about bolting that on. And we'll finish this up. So stay tuned, my friends. I'll see you in a minute. All right, we're back. As you can see here, we now have the frame ready. We have the wheels all bolted on. They're already locked in place, ready to go. Mr. Diaz, when you get this, you're also going to get a bag that's going to have 26 of these 1/4-20 stainless steel Phillips bolts. The entire cart is going to be assembled using that exact screws. You're going to notice nut zerts had already been installed into the frame. You're merely going to take your side panel, and what I suggest is stick one of the bolts through the hole, line it up with the nut zert, and start it by finger, because you do not want to cross thread these, because if you cross thread them, these are nut zerts that are pressed into the frame, And if you cross thread it, it will have to be drilled out, and you will have to drill a hole all the way through it just to put a nut on the other side. So please, just start these by finger. This is one of the reasons why I pre-assemble these here, just so I show you and that I can see that everything goes together the way it should. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. I'll put the other panel on the other side. I'll spin it around, and then I'll come back to you when we're putting the A-frames in the end to walk you through doing that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, as you can see, we have the front and back panel on, the frame's done, and we have the wheels attached to it. Now what you're going to take is your A-frame. It's going to be a front and a back. They're going to be numbered on the inside. If you look on the inside at the bottom of the frame, down here, you're going to notice there is a number 1 written on the panel, and on top of the frame there is also a number 1. That tells you that this panel goes on this side. The same thing with the A-frames. On the inside of the A-frame, it's going to be marked A, the other side will be marked B, and on the inside of this, it will be marked A and B. The reason for that is I don't own a CNC table. If you own a CNC machine that actually cuts these, every single drill hole would be in the exact same spot. Everything would line up regardless of whether you had this panel on the right side or the left, they would line up. But because I don't have that and everything is done by hand by me, every hole is drilled, they are very, very close, but not close enough that you could switch the front with the back. So just be very cautious of that. Look for the A and the B so you get it assembled the right way. When you screw these in, you should be able to literally screw this into the nut zert by finger with absolutely no force whatsoever, all the way down till it is completely installed. If you start to screw it in and it doesn't feel like it's going, do not force it with a screwdriver. You will cross thread it, you will mess it up, and then the nut zert will come loose. So just be very cautious and just take your time. It's only going to take you a minute to do it, I promise you. You're going to have this cart completely assembled in probably less than 15 minutes. The way you're going to do it is you're going to pull this panel back and set this up in there, line up the top bolt hole, and start your screw. And like I said, you can screw this screw in almost all the way with your finger. Then put the screw in the bottom. Whoop, drop it like I did. Start your screw, screw it in over halfway on the bottom by hand. Then spin the cart around and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. Start your screw, and like I said, once you have it threaded properly, literally you can just screw it all the way in with your finger. Put the one in the top, line it up, screw it in. Once you have that loose, go along and put all the remaining screws in. There'll be 4 on each side, and like I say, just finger tighten them in. Once you have all 4, just tighten up the panel. And remember, you're only putting together a little 18 gauge cart to hold your Bullseye smoker. We're not building tractor and trailers here. So please take my advice, do not use an impact gun to drive these in, because nut zerts pressed in and collapse into the metal. They hold very, very well, but if you over torque them and you break them loose from the metal they're in, they're a nightmare. There is no repairing it. You have to literally remove it and install another one. But as you can see, these screws go right in, extremely easy. There's no need to torque them down. Once they bottom out and are snug, you are good. They are not going anywhere. So as you can see here, just in that short time, we put together the one A-frame. So now I'll put the other one on and we'll be right back. All right, Mr. Diaz, as you can see here, your cart is all assembled, put together. It will now be disassembled, packaged up, and ready to be shipped out to you. A bag that's going to have all of the 1/4 stainless steel bolts in the bag. It's also going to come with the 8 stainless steel number 8 screws for him to be able to attach this to his Bullseye. And it's also going to come with a drill bit and self-tapping screws for him to put these 4 holes in to his Bullseye. Always has the locking caster wheels all the way around. This one actually has the removable bottom shelf, which that is something that we're eventually going to get away from. Only because we all know about the cost of steel going up, and I really would rather come up with a design that is just as strong, just as heavy duty to offer to you guys without changing the cost whatsoever. So that's where we're trying to go with this. That's why some of the changes are being made. I have measured this one from the ground to the top of the cart. It is 27.5 inches tall. From the original cart, from the ground up, it is 33.5 inches tall. Off of all the feedback that I've been getting from everyone, I really think this is going to wind up becoming the new model. So many people are more in that average height range, are more looking for this size than the taller version like I have. We did get one customer the other day that was looking at me moving mine around and loved the fact that the carts were so easy to move. Just bear in mind that my carts come with the caster wheels on all 4 corners, which makes it extremely easy for you to spin your cart around. I will, at the end of this video, I have another one that I have to put together. I will do a video on that one if I find that there's more that needs to be covered, more so than this one, only because that one is the taller version. And I did do some changes with the A panels that are in it. Let me get to building this other one and getting this up so Mr. Diaz can see what his cart's going to look like, and we hopefully get these out, shipped out tomorrow. So I'll get back with you shortly, my friends. Stay tuned. So here we are, my RecTech family. We're back. I got the 2 carts done. They'll actually be getting broke down here in a couple minutes, packaged up to be shipped out. This one with the Bullseye on it, it should put the grates somewhere around the 35 inches from the ground up. This is a much better all-around height. I think this one was definitely more for the taller RecTech family members like myself, people that were over 6 feet. This one is entirely put together with nut zerts, so there are no nuts to this. They are all prefabbed into the metal, so all you're going to get with this one is going to be a bag with all the screws to assemble it. As I stated earlier in the video, due to the cost of metal going up, I did not want to increase the price of the carts, but I still wanted to offer you a really good cart. So this particular cart, if you're familiar with the original ones, were made with 16 gauge steel. These are all made out of 18 gauge. There's only been 3 of these made so far, this here being the 3rd one. The one that I have is actually the first one. Then I built one for myself, took mine off of my old cart and moved it over to the new one so that anytime you saw mine, you would see it on the new cart. And the only issue I found was I wanted to try to make it a little stronger, a little heavier duty, because it is a little bit thinner steel. If you notice, this side is actually completely closed in from the bottom to the top, which is where your hopper box is, which makes it extremely hard to get in on that side anyway. This side is still open, so you could still put pellets down here if you wanted. You could put your searing grates, you could put your cover for your Bullseye if you wanted some place to store it to get it out of the way while you're using it. So you still have that, you still have the removable rack. This one is actually already purchased. It was bought by I think it was Leslie, bought it the other day. So that one's actually going to be boxed up today and shipped out tomorrow. It's just an incredible cart. an incredible value, and it just takes your Bullseye to a completely new level. So I'm hoping he's going to be happy. I'm hoping Leslie's going to be happy. And I appreciate you guys purchasing these. I think we're up to 6 or 7 now. We only got a couple more to sell, and we're going to be doing one of the giveaways. 10 sales we're going to do. Basically, it's a giveaway for one of the carts that have already been purchased. So if you haven't already watched that video, go back and watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. Other than that, I am having a blast. I'm going to get back on working on the shelf system. Latter part of next week, I'll be doing a video showing you the actual completed shelf system for the Bullseye. Until then, I love you guys, and as always, smoke like the rest, but roll with the best. I'll see you, my friends.